how to dress. Shit, I'm coordinated, motherfucker. What they talking about? Right. And they told me it was a dress code, man. What happened? Told me to put on my best shit. Ain't nobody else got their best shit on. Ain't that a bitch? This is shit. This is I got my shit on. You don't find this shit in one damn store. I've been all over Los Angeles looking for this shit. Yeah. See my happy socks? I got them motherfuckers on too.
So I'm here with co-founder of Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam and Apollo Theater's the most amazing talent scout, Bob Sumner. Mr. Sumner, thank you so much. Like I said, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So let's just get into it. You watched Apollo as a kid and then became one of the most immersive talent scouts of the 90s. No one just wakes up and says, hey, I want to find comedy acts. So what was it for you that made you want to do that?
I mean, it wasn't that I always wanted to do it, but the opportunity came about years ago for me to give something a shot that I always thought about, because you know how like when you grow up, it's things that always play in your head, like that happened years ago, like when you were a kid. And one of the things that always sat with me was taking those trips over to Harlem, New York, to the world famous Apollo Theater.
Gentlemen, please meet the world-renowned Temptations. Everybody put your hands together like this. Come on.
Seriously, I'm talking about as a toddler, you know, so I always played that picture out in my head. And then an opportunity came for me to enter the entertainment business, and here I am.
And here you are. I think I asked this question before because I've seen it on social media. Are you living in at least one of the dreams you prayed for?
There's no doubt about it.
Period.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, and it goes a couple different ways. How I always been into sports, right? So, and I've always been into entertainment, and I've also always been into wanting, like when I first entered Seton Hall University, I entered as an education major. I wanted to be a teacher, you know? So it's like all of these things intertwine into what I'm doing through the joy of laughter now.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. It is crazy, but it's like you surrounding yourself with good vibes always.
All day.
What could go wrong with that? So now you have brought out some of the larger than life names around the world. Why not solely manage one client?
Why not?
Right. Like, so you were the one to find acts like Bernie Mac. Like, that's somebody to follow throughout his career.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, that's another one to follow throughout his entire career. But you don't. You just cut him loose and go on to the next talent.
Well, I'm like a gardener. You know what I mean? I just plant the seeds, or or I should say I have in the past, because you know I had to become a proof of concept myself. You know what I mean? There was no way I was just gonna come out of the box saying I'm gonna do everything that I've done. I've had to prove myself and let everyone see that this is a formula that I have. You know, that, you know, no one has really done what I've been able to do in this comedy world. You know, when you think about it, you know, it's kind of crazy. So that doesn't mean that it can't be done again. So now that we've had this pandemic and everybody has sat back and tried to figure it out, and this is like a brand new day for everyone, You know, I sat back and like listened to everyone become broadcast journalists with these podcasts during it. And my name kept popping up and everybody kept talking about, can we get back to them days and stuff? And my whole thing is I have that formula.
Right.
No matter whose name you might have thought did this, that, and the other, they know how it all happened, and I know that it can happen again. And I just finished going across the country. I looked at over 700 people. Same formula I did back in '91 with Bernie and them. I went back out there on the road, and I've broken it down to 70. And I'm getting ready to do something real serious it's very soon down in DC. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And it's time to laugh at the union, and then we're gonna just keep it moving from there. I got plans. I got plans to do what I do.
So before I got questions. So before
Mhm.
I get to the number one question, why do you think Black representation mattered back then, especially in comedy during the early 90s?
Why did I think it always mattered,
Mm-hmm.
but it was never a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was doing underground comedy shows back in North New Jersey in the mid 80s. And we
Wow.
was packing the house. I knew what was going on, and fortunate enough, I got a job at Def Jam Records. And one thing led to another where here you have Def Comedy Jam.
Mm,
And and the thing is, it's not like the comedians wasn't around. They just didn't have a platform, or they
mhm.
didn't have somebody to help get them there. And, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. You know what I mean?
Right, right. No, I mean, you were the it person. There's no doubt about that. So now that brings us to now you're working on the union.
Hmm.
Time to laugh. Tell us about that.
Well, time to laugh for me is just another extension of, again, the seeds that I've been able to plant. And now with the pandemic being done and now it's time for the reset, I have an opportunity to go down here in the DMV, Washington, D.C., the Union, Oyster House, and showcase some of the best talent that the DMV have to offer. Because quite a few comedians who I've been able to work with through the Def Comedy Jam years and till today, come from my host, from Martin Lawrence all the way through to Chappelle and so many others. So the talent pool is still there. And I'm really taking a page out of Don Cornelius. Okay. Don Cornelius, he just was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he rose to fame with the Soul Train brand, which started as a little local situation in Chicago, and then it moved into a big time Hollywood, project. But
Mhm.
and I look at this, what we're doing here in DC is just like it's just like a foundation for the comedians to get their craft. We're going to do some really cool things within the DC market and then branch it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, opportunity is opportunity, you know?
And when it comes knocking, you got to answer the door.
Yeah.
So, what is so uniquely specific about the Union District Oyster Bar that made you want to partner with Mr. Russell Webster?
Uh, I mean, see, I'm all about the entertainment. I'm all about entertainment with a vibe.
That.
Okay, with a vibe and just like great character amongst the staff and people that's there, and actually having the same vision that I have when it comes to having people have a great time.
Mhm.
People go through a long week of work and this, that, and the other. They're looking for some place where they can really like unwind, enjoy a nice drink, have a nice meal, and plenty of laughs and great people. That's what I'm all about. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And when I was, approached by the people down at the Union Oyster, it was a no-brainer for me,
Right.
because I've been looking to get back in the DC market anyway. I was down there years ago over on the at National Harbor. I was producing a show. and that disbanded after a while for whatever reason. I was just the producer, not the actual promoter or whatever. But I always, like I said, I always loved that area, and now I have this opportunity. I'm very excited, very excited.
Good. And I'm excited for you. So now here's it's a two-part question.
Mhm.
What type of lineup will you showcase? And are you a fan of the heckler that works the room or the storyteller?
It's oh man, the talent that I'm gonna put on the stage is gonna be a combination of veterans, veterans who have now, they may have been young during the early Def Jam years, but they've now been able to live,
Right.
which means they're about telling that story, that
Okay.
point of view. You know what I
Right.
mean? So this is where the education comes, where that young comedian that's on the come up, they'll be able to get educated from the OG. But also, I can see that young Chappelle or that young Chris Tucker. When I put those guys on Def Comedy Jam, they were like 20, 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a combination. And again, my eye for talent is a little different than others. And you're going to see a nice little variety. And this isn't like social media, quick bits. These are going to be stand-up comedians that will be up there doing nice 10 to 15-minute sets while everybody's enjoying their drinks and, enjoying the show.
So, and with that, and just like you said, number one, when does it air and what channel? And then I have another question about back then.
Well, in terms of the production side of everything, I'm in here to really, do what I do, and that's like showcase the best comedians that money can buy. And in terms of like the air dates and all of that stuff, that's to be announced, as far as I know,
Okay.
So, but I mean, it's definitely going to be right there within. I believe there's a show that they've showed the first episode of a show that stars Tommy Davidson called The Union. And so it's that same, they're using the same approach with this stand-up show.
You know when it all goes down and everybody got dreams, got dreams. Well, this is where you come if you want them all to come true. Union is a place you could come to. We gon' make it together. All we gotta do is stay together. If you ain't knowing that, you know.
Okay, and that was what made me ask, because it seems like the Oyster Bar is a hot commodity.
Yeah. Well, that's why I jumped on the opportunity to be a part of it. Like I said, that it's a very, like the love that I feel amongst the DC film and TV community and Russell and the crew over there at the Oyster. It's a beautiful thing. And I have my team of Bobby Duckett and Jeff Billingsley. I have a nice little crew that is all about the business of entertainment and showing people a great time. So this is a great combination of everyone that's involved. My man Bruce Walker, who I have a long time relationship with. All of the right pieces to the puzzle is popping right now.
Okay. Somebody said I am the puzzle. So now, looking over your jesting finds from the last 40 years and seeing success stories from the talents you discovered, who's by far your favorite act? Now, you don't have to say anything, because you ain't got to make nobody mad now.
Well, it's been so many. I mean, when you think about all of the comedians that I've helped, launch their careers, it's so many.
Right.
But there's always that one, like I said, when the seed is planted, and everyone knows that, Bill Bellamy and I, along with Mike Epps, like we've always had this thing because they were always my host in my little local shows around town. But in terms of when I was able to get to the national stage with things, The coffee was stirred by a young man who was driving a Wonder Bread truck at the time out of Chicago, Illinois, by the name of Bernie Mac.
Them y'all motherfucking women look good. Y'all like a bacon egg sandwich look good. But I love sex. I love it. Can't do shit no more. And I'm blessed. I'm big boned. I'm heavy structured. I'm hung low.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac really kicked things off. I never will forget the date when I first saw Bernie. It was on August. This is so funny that I could like restore this information like this. But it was on August the 5th, 1991, at the Comedy Act Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Not the one in LA. There was one in Atlanta. And I saw Bernie perform this particular night. I was down there. I was working for the record company, Def Jam Recordings at the time. And I had to do some work at the Jack the Rapper music conference. And I was going to start production on this new show. We didn't even have a name for it. And I was going to start it out in Chicago because Adele Givens, a young lady, had come to the tri-state area and had performed in a couple of my spots. And I was really impressed with her. So I said, if I'm gonna get this thing started, I already know that New York and LA are the comedy places. And then of course you have DC, and then there's Chicago. So she turned me on to Bernie. I called Bernie. Bernie told me that he was going to be in Atlanta the same time I was there. And when I tell you, a lot of people say when I'm in a club, they can't tell I don't show emotion. And, because I can't really, I got to poker it up a little bit. Right. And listen, when I saw Bernie Mac, I was like rolling on the floor, doing cartwheels and stuff. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I called Bill Bellamy. I said, B, we on our way, bro. We getting ready to do something. So I have to give it up to Bernie. Bernie Mac is that dude, Yeah.
Legacy. So now you said you searched for stage presence and good character when scouting comedians. What are things that will end the professional relationship? And what is the one thing that stands out that makes you say, hey, that's the cat with the it factor?
I really, really I cannot put the it factor. The it factor is the it factor.
Okay.
It's like you don't even know, because I could sit through 15 comedians, and then here comes number 16.
Right.
And that's the one that did it for me. And I don't let the audience dictate nothing for me, because I've seen them all. I mean, when you think about, I keep this little list in front of me to keep me going. And I say that meaning, like, when I saw those 700 comedians I started in June, I went from June to November, right?
Right.
And I broke it down like it's sports. Like I said, I put all my stuff together. I broke it down like it's a lottery and this, that, and the other. And, the names of the comedians that I'll be working on for this next wave, you may not know. But the same names that I'm talking about, you may not know, they were once Bill Bellamy, Dion Cole, Cedric the Entertainer, J.B. Smoove, Cheryl Underwood, D.L. Hughley, Monique, Chris Tucker, Craig Robinson, Kevin Hart, Tracy Morgan. You know what I mean? All these names that I just said, they were once who I'm talking about now, the rising stars.
Okay.
So, and again, this is my formula. Like, out of those names I just named, the Ricky Smileys, the Mike Epps, the Dominiques, Tasha Smith, even, like, all of them, like, nobody knew who they were. You had to learn who they was as you saw them on Def Jam or in the movie Friday or House Party. Like, all they do, they just get that opportunity. Once they get that opportunity, I remember when I got Bill Bellamy on MTV, it was just based on an opportunity that I saw that I didn't know where it can go. But next thing I know, I get a call from MTV about this guy. Now, when you talk about me managing all of them, before all of those people, that was like, I was still building my career to prove that I could do this. Now, this go round, trust and believe me, I'm bringing the goods.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna be looking forward too.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
I'm gonna be like, I spoke to him, maybe not first, but somewhere in the line, and he said he was coming with that heat this time. Okay.
No doubt about it, T. You hear?
So, what other projects are you working on?
I have I have really, it's a long list of things that I'm doing. And again, this time to laugh at the Union, that's like the baby that I'm like, that's what's happening right now. But of course, I'm still at the world famous Apollo Theater as a curator of comedy. So every first Thursday, I'm bringing a brand new show there all the way up until May. And the series runs from October to May. And I'm also at the Newark Symphony Hall, the newly renovated Newark Symphony Hall in Jersey. I'm bringing the essence of what I did with the Peppermint back to Brick City, where I started with Bill Bellamy and Mike Epps, and now I have Marshall Brandon and Rashawn Reese. Those are my next guys that's on the cover. And we're doing our thing over there. I'm down in Willingboro, New Jersey. I've been down in South Jersey. That's like, I used to use the Peppermint as my road to Def Comedy Jam. And my road to the Apollo, I actually used this room down in South Jersey. We've been down there since 2015. And that's where like comedians come from all over the country and showcase for me so they can make it to that Apollo stage. And now, over here to this DC stage and what have you. So those are some of the things I have going on. I have another show that I do once a month in Newark called Jazz and Jokes, which is just like a real laid back, cool, grown and sexy type thing. And then, it's just so many things that I'm doing right now.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Like this is over 40 years where you've been doing this and bringing the funnies. So that's a big deal. So how do you feel?
I feel really, really good, especially I had a call earlier today that is really going to open up the floodgates in terms of on a national level in terms of what I'm doing. And then we're going to get back on the road and let the people see fresh new talent on tour, because I'm seeing a lot of recycling of comedians that I put out there in the 90s. You see a lot of these tours now, and it's like the same faces, but just a different name. And they
Right.
might put one or two Instagram sensations on the show just because they have followers. Like, this is an art for me. This isn't a hustle. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I'm just staying in my lane and
Fact.
doing it the way I do. I don't have to look at videos. I don't have to do any of that. I'm coming to your crib to watch you.
Okay. Somebody said I'm
Yeah.
coming to the TV. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So where can viewers follow you? And do you plan for the Oyster Bar? Do you plan to do drops? Like where can we catch some of the comedies that
Well, everybody can follow me at bob.sumner on Instagram. And also the Union Oyster, they have an Instagram page as well that I'm sure all of the information will be, you can find it there. But definitely just follow me on Instagram is the best way to make it happen. And trust and believe me, it just doesn't stop like right here or there. I'm all over. I'm like Forrest Gump.
somebody so tickled? Like you can tell your life is a comedic, like the way that you just laughed at your own joke is hilarious in itself, okay?
Well, hey, I'm just having fun.
Well, no, I mean, it just speaks to, like I said, you surround yourself with laughter and comedy and joy, because, like, at a time when we did have and we have to speak on that kind of loosely, the pandemic, we needed that, So the fact that you realize there is a need for this now more so than ever, that's a big deal.
And for me, not to bring this down to another place, because you see how joyful I am.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason that I am so joyful is on December 14th, coming up. Today is yesterday was the 14th. Next month will be in 2014, actually, in 2014, I was carjacked.
Wow.
Yeah, and to a point where I was severely. And for me to be here, to be able to tell my stories and this, that, and the other, it's a beautiful thing because, you know, five guys with ski masks came down on me on this 12-degree, you know, it was 12 degrees, cold as hell. And and I have a testimony, you know, there's a reason why I'm still here. You know what I
Right.
mean? And for me to have been able to, and I always use this term, you know, all of the comedians that's come down my block, you know, I've been able to get them from the outhouse to the penthouse. You know what I mean? So I continue, you know, this is what I want to continue to do. And I just actually became a grandfather for the first time, you know, 4 months ago, and getting ready to be a grandfather again. Like it's my grandson. Now I'm getting ready to have a granddaughter in May 8th, my grandmother's birthday, who passed away at 103. So I have a lot to be joyful about right now.
Thanks. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Sumner. Welcome to the GG Club, okay?
That's what's up. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So I will wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a wonderful time, and the golden years with the grands. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for having me. And I just again, if you're in the neighborhood, come laugh with me.
Of course. Boy, you better shoot me some tickets. Don't tell me to come and laugh, okay?
That's what I'm talking about. And then I do one other thing that I didn't mention is I'm getting ready to do something really big out in Los Angeles. Yeah, okay. in 2024. Yeah.
Well, keep me on the Rolodex. I don't know if you still use one, but if not, contacts. All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I still be writing on paper. You know what I mean?
Listen, you know, we're too old school. Like I'm sitting here talking about a Rolodex. Who does that? Okay.
Hey, I know. Shoot, mess around and go look into the encyclopedia.
And you don't know how to dress? Shit, I'm coordinated, motherfucker. What you talking about? Right. And they told me it was a dress code, man. What happened? Told me to put on my best shit. Ain't nobody else got their best shit on. Ain't that a bitch? This is shit. This is what I got my shit on. You don't find this shit in one damn store. I've been all over Los Angeles looking for this shit. See my happy socks? I got them motherfuckers on too.